listening to Anthony.
Jimmy.
This is a good bit. How you doing, buddy?
Yeah. This is. How long have you been playing? What do you play like your whole life? Guitar and
I
shit?
think I started like when I was like 13. I want to say. I'm making up. There's probably I should do research on this because
was it a passion for music or chicks?
It was. You wanted to be a rock star. Yeah. I think it was. Yeah, girls, and it's like I started playing piano. My sister played piano. I started doing that, and that wasn't for me.
Yeah.
And then I picked up clarinet.
Oh, you can't rock with a clarinet.
That's just the worst.
Yeah.
I mean, how do you jam out? It's like, hey, you guys know any Benny Goodman?
You guys playing over at the garage? Yeah, I'll come over. I'll bring my clarinet.
Yeah, I'll bring my clarinet. Like, get lost.
I love Woody Allen, not his comedy, but his music.
Yeah. I saw Woody Allen.
Where with one of the hotels, right?
Yeah, at the Carlisle. It's like it's like a Dixieland type of thing.
Wow,
it's great. And I talked to him afterwards just because I wanted. So I saw him afterwards. I go, oh, that was great. I didn't know that because you can get different notes from the clarinet. I go, when you go down, you get one note, it's like, and then when you go up, it's more of a tenor thing.
Oh, that's weird.
He goes, you know, when I went up, that was for you.
Oh, wow.
Give me a break. Really? Yeah, he knew he's probably said that 1,000 times. I remember like there was some show or something on the 8th floor by Saturday Night Live, and the booker always kept trying to get me on the show every day because they were on the same floor. And I was like, now I'm not going to do it. I was thinking about doing it, but now it's just so annoying. That's not fun. I don't feel like I want to do this. So I on our show, I'm just like, hey, if you want to come on, just ask us. And
Was he in which room was Woody in? Because there's two at the Carlisle. When you first walk in to your right,
you're right.
There's a room where there's a stage, and then there's a lounge where there's like a piano in the middle of the room.
What are you going to rob the place?
Well, yeah, Jason
knows the whole layout.
In and out. Nobody gets hurt.
There's a vent that leads up to the 3rd floor. There's a safe in the wall.
We'll take that clarinet and we'll sell it on eBay.
There's a picture of JFK and there's a picture of Jackie coming out of the clarinet. That was, by the way, the last place that Mimi Beardsley had sex with JFK was in the Carlisle the week before he was assassinated.
Oh. Who did you used to listen to when you first started playing guitar and stuff? Like who was like, I want to be like that?
Well, I think you start off like Roy Orbison was a big thing.
Really?
That was like that I don't know why that was just
that's kind of an. I mean, Roy Orbison was great, but it's kind of an odd thing to.
But I don't know that maybe it was because it was like he would sing real like he was like the operatic sing like yeah. I remember just like going like, wow,
that's a powerful voice.
I didn't see that ending coming at all.
It just keeps going up and up.
This is
how the hell are you doing that?
Like my first opera or something. I didn't know Roy could do this.
Yeah, I only get my opera from the J.G. Wentworth commercials. That's like pretty much. That's all. That's the only opera. And I feel I'm a little more cultured
from that. Yeah. So I got into that and then when I started playing guitar, Rolling Stones and Bruce Springsteen.
Okay,
when you get I started with an electric guitar because that's the way to do it.
Yeah.
But it's not. It turns out you got to start with an acoustic so you know what's going on, and then you get into the electric.
Yeah.
So I got electric first, and I would just play like chords, and I play Wipeout. That was the only song I knew how to play. And I remember I went to my friend's party, had I think it was like a Sweet 16 party or something like that. It was just me and him in his room. No, I'm just kidding. He had a giant big Sweet 16 party. He's just a nice guy. And he had a band and all this stuff, and his parents threw him this big giant party like they do on MTV.
Right, yeah.
And the band was like, he was like, my friend plays guitar. And I was like, no, well, not really. I mean, I have one, but I don't. But the one song I knew was Wipeout, and I got up and I played Wipeout with the band. And I was
you're a rock star,
15 or something. And I was
man,
that was super cool. It was like in front of it was just spare of the moment. And it was like, that was the first night I ever heard Led Zeppelin.
Wow.
Yeah.
And when you got done, were people coming up and going, man, that rocked. You sounded good. And you're like, that's it. I'm cooked.
Oh, yeah. Those girls and everything. That was awesome. Yeah. That was it. Then I go, I'm sold on guitar.
Wow. Over the years, you play with so many famous people now from your show. Who was the first one you remember going like, holy shit, I can't believe I'm playing with this person?
Probably MTV Awards I hosted in James Brown.
Pretty legendary.
Yeah, I asked because we were doing this big whole thing. We're doing impressions of a bunch of different musicians, and then at the end I was like, I don't know how to end it. I'm like, maybe I'm exhausted, and then you hear like, get up, and I go, who's saying that? And it's like, get up, and I go, what is that? Who's saying that? And then he walks out and he goes, and get up, get on up, and then everyone got. So he did that.
Wow,
but
man,
just the fact that they got it was Tom Calderon over at I was at VH1, but he flew to James Brown's house and he came over and he said, okay, here's the deal, Jimmy. When James Brown comes, you can't call him James. You can't call him Mr. Brown. You have to call him Mr. James Brown, or else he'll walk. Or he's gonna walk. I go, all right, okay. All right. I don't want to lose this. Is the end of my whole bit. This is the one. So he comes in, and everyone's he got his dress room, whatever he wants in his dress room, and all this stuff. And he walks in. I go, hello, Mr. James Brown. He goes, call me James. The nicest guy.
Oh, man.
Do you think that was a publicist overthinking it, or was that him, like, probably from years of being treated like shit?
That'd be a great joke to play on people, though, to make sure that your guy tells everyone, make sure you call him this.
Yeah,
it's a great way to.
But it puts you're off a little bit, because I was like so nervous. So maybe I guess it's a check, to see if you're going to be respectful or not.
The Anthony Podcast.
This is a true story. So I go to pre-interview Paul McCartney. He's going to come on my show, and I'm just excited that he's coming on.
How long before the show do you pre-interview him? Is it that day, or is it like a week before?
It's that day.
Okay.
So that day I go to see him. He's at Saturday Night Live up in his dressing room. He's the nicest guy. And you go in and, he's like, come on, man, come on. I go, Paul, I'm so psyched you're going to come on the show. And I go, I actually wrote a sketch if you want. He goes, I think we'll just do, a quick chat. It'll be a fun chat.
Oh, yeah.
And I go, yeah, okay, that'd be great too. I mean, we could do that as well. I got just questions like, yeah, we'll just have a loose chat. It'll be fun. I go, great. And I go, but we wrote this piece, and he's like, no, we'll just do a quick chat and we'll have fun,
Oh, man.
It'll be good. And I go, it's called Scrambled Eggs. And it's about when you wrote yesterday, you wrote Scrambled Eggs. Oh, my lady, how I love your legs. That was the original. He goes, I know that. I wrote it. And I go, well, I have like you singing, like our writer on the show, Mike DeCenzo, wrote out the whole song as if you did write the song about scrambled eggs. He's like, okay, just do it. So I just did it in his dressing room. So I'm like, scrambled eggs. Oh, my lady, how I love your legs, but not as much as I love scrambled eggs. Oh, have you tried scrambled eggs? And then cut to his head is over my shoulder reading the lyrics like, waffle fries. And he's laughing. And I go, oh, of course. I go, you're going to do this? And he goes, only if you do it with me. Then I just passed out.
Yeah.
I didn't go in to pitch him a duet. I wouldn't even think to do that.
Singing in your ear.
It's the craziest thing in the world.
It would have been great if you went, Paul, please.
Hey, I'm unfinished.
Not over my shoulder.
It's really, it's bizarre. And of course, when we were trying, rehearsing it, I tried to harmonize. And I started harmonizing and it was awful.
Oh, no.
And he goes, you don't have to do that.
Oh, no.
You're right.
No.
But then
a little red.
But then on air, I felt it and I was like, I think I can do it. And I did it on air and it worked.
That's ballsy though, like on air.
I just felt it. I felt like it was I was like, we were getting to the thing, the crowd was feeding off the crowd and it was good and it was a good take. And
I know where this is.
I could probably,
I could find this one.
Yeah. I think I can do this one pretty good. And so, that was just it was one of those moments where you go like, I don't know if I'm going to realize that this happened now.
Yeah.
Or in years to come,
That's great, man.
I think that's kind of when we thought we should put a record out because, or an album, not a record, gosh.
A record.
We're going to put a record out.
Some hot wax.
We're getting the band together. We're going to put everything out. So, we started thinking about that. So then, then it's all, you got to get clearance and all that stuff.
Yeah. We were talking about that. Like, it's got to take a while a lot of guys.
Yeah. I mean, cause we did a slow jam, the news, it's on the record with Brian Williams, but after we did the record, we ended up doing one with the president.
Right.
So
yeah.
I'd love to have that on.
You think Obama's a public figure that you could do that, though? I guess not.
So it's tough to even get a photo.
They don't want a wacky picture of him with his mouth open, sneezing.
If you get your cell phone out, you're like, I can probably sneak one of like Abe Lincoln's teacups that he used to use. And as soon as there's guys going,
hey, how you doing? What do you got there?
Yeah. So it's like, you just feel like you don't belong. So you don't sneak pictures at the White House.
Oh, so when you wanted, when you had him on the show, though, you got a photo, I would hope.
Well, yeah, I mean, he eventually sent me, but it took a couple months to.
Because it's the White House guy. It's not like the.
It's not
your guy.
It's not my guy. It's the White House guy, and it has to go through their clearances and all that stuff. And you don't tweet about it. Like Slow Jam, the news. We did our first show. That was one of our first bits.
Oh, really? Yeah.
And who was it?
Just me.
Oh,
Yeah.
it was
Just me and the Roots, and then we tried it with P. Diddy, and that was fun. And then Brian Williams came on. We asked him if he'd do it, and then we had a whole run with Brian Williams, where he was great.
When you pitched to Obama, like when you want to do a bit with the president, do you you obviously submit it way before the White House? Was there anything you wanted to do that they said no to, or was this the first idea that like, sure, it sounds good?
Well, I mean, just knowing from like Saturday Night Live, you know, like where you can push people and how far and what is it worth it and all that stuff. And you don't want to. It's the president, so I want to be, you know, as classy as we can with that bit. But I think there was one joke we had. Like I said, POTUS. What does that stand for? Person of the like something unanimous sexuality or something, or sexualness or something like that, or unusual sexualness. And they were just like, yeah, no.
Oh, no.
We're not. Oh, he didn't even get it. They didn't even get
wrestle you to the ground.
Right?
Well, he's fine.
Pull the fucking sheet out of your hand, wrestle to the ground.
Yeah. It was like, well, they sent an email. I go, no, just don't. Everything else is good, but just change that. So we just changed it.
When he comes in day of to perform, I mean, obviously there's a security lockdown, only people who need to be there. But how far in advance does he get there? Like, or do you go over the bit with him first? Do you walk into the dressing room or green room?
He has it, but and then they have you meet him by yourself.
Wow.
At the loading dock. So I had to meet him. So I met the president, and no assistants, no stage manager, no my wife, nobody.
Wow.
So I go. Okay, I meet him by myself.
It's my buddy from college.
Yeah,
They want to do some pictures. Can you sign some stuff?
So you know what I did? I printed out a paper that said President Obama written, like, you know, the limo drivers
like the
at the
limo
airport.
drivers, yeah.
And I just hold it. I was like, waving at him. Hey, I go, how you doing, Mr. President? I'm Marcus. I'm your escort. If you need anything, he's laughing right off the bat.
He got the joke.
Yeah. And then he went over it, and he goes, all right, we're gonna slow jam. And so I showed him my rehearsal, and then at the end of Slow Jam, usually Brian Williams says, like, he goes like, oh yeah. It's basically just saying the basic news, but in an R&B type of sexual, undertone to the normal news. No real hard jokes in there. Just, so at the end, usually Brian Williams goes, oh yeah. And so President Obama's rehearsing, and he goes, oh yeah. Come on, can't you give me a little, oh yeah. And he goes, oh yeah. And I go, can't you? He goes, no, I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to do, oh yeah. I go, just give me a little spice, can't you? He goes, no.
You said that to him? He said no? Wow.
Yeah. He's a good.
You really have to be on your guard at all times when you're the president. It's just, and if you loosen up, you're looked at as what, weak? Come on.
Well, he didn't, he didn't, he didn't go over any of the pre-questions. Like, I didn't know what he was going to say.
Wow.
Like, he didn't even know what I was going to ask, I don't think. He's just good.
They just trust that you're going to be somewhat respectful. He's fast enough on his feet.
He's really good.
He's quick. Smart
He's a
dude.
great.
There was a Secret Service guy with crosshairs on your head the whole time. If
Well,
he goes into a
Secret
joke,
Service, I got into that. I asked. That's where he said he called them knuckleheads.
Because of what happened?
Because don't let a couple knuckleheads ruin what great service they do for us. And it was like, he could have easily told me not to ask about that.
Yeah,
he was cool with all that. In the commercial break, he goes, because at the end of the Slow Jam, he pulled the microphone up and just dropped it. Like Eminem from 8 Mile. And I go, and so we're in commercial. He goes, did you see how I dropped the mic?
oh man.
Yeah. I saw you. It was very funny. He goes, I improvised that.
You should have scolded him. Like, that was very inappropriate.
You're going to compare for that, sir.
What do you talk about during commercial with the President of the United States? Like, do other people rush over and monopolize him, or is it just you and him sitting there?
Just sitting there. He asked me like how I met my wife and stuff like that. And he was really like, he's acted like he was interested in me. I don't know if he's very presidential. He's very charming. And he said, how'd you meet your wife? I said, we met in this movie, Fever Pitch. He produced this movie. He goes, it was about a guy who loves baseball, but he also loves his girlfriend. He's not sure which one to choose. He goes, oh, I remember that movie. I didn't see it, but I go, remember you chose not to see it? It was campaign time. It was not campaign time.
Yeah, that's worse.
It was that years before you campaiged.
He knows about it but didn't see it. That's bad. There's a reason.
The worst.
How great would it be if he tore you up for it? Weak writing, weak acting.
He really criticized the movie. I really don't watch it next time. Yeah, but
come back from spots, you're yelling at each other.
He's great to everybody. He's great to every single person on the staff. Shook hands and said hello, and he's just and they look you right in the eye, and it's just it's a powerful moment.
There's something about
gets
those.
in the limo, shuts the door. Glad we're out of that fucking place.
Yeah, your microphone's still on.
Bunch of assholes.
Those guys like Clinton and those guys and all these, anyone elected to that office, you just know how to, like, you can't not like one of those guys when you meet them.
It's just charming. Yeah,
It's part of the whole package.
It's
Yeah,
part
you
of the
need that.
politics of it all. Yeah.
Yeah.
You're listening to Anthony.
It's very difficult to get traction on late night talk. I mean, obviously there have been so many people that have just failed. When did you start saying like, oh boy, I think we got this. I think we're on. Cause you're definitely like, you're one of the players now in late night. You are. It's a great show. It's a lot of fun to watch. When did you know that, like, I think we got something?
I mean,
Or you're still worried?
I'm gonna say, yeah. I'm gonna say, I don't know. I think like when I just stopped worrying about time and going to commercial.
Oh, the technical stuff is all in your head and not so much of the artistic part of it.
Yeah, exactly. It's having a conversation is what it really is. And that's what all the advice books say and all the people that you ask tell you. Just have a conversation. But you can't just, it's just weird. You just can't just do that.
But you're smart though. Like, I'm sorry, but like you guys, like you and Kim, will use like the internet and you use Twitter and you use all this social networking stuff, and which it makes you relevant to young people. It's a smart thing to do.
It fit them that, just like,
Right.
It wouldn't make sense. It's more fun for Letterman to play like, I don't know what this is.
The Anthony Podcast.
Justin Timberlake, he was coming on the show and we were going to sing a song or do some, type of Barry Gibb bit or something like that. And he goes, let's switch. He goes, let's do maybe like something like sing our favorite rap songs in medley, like the Humpty Dance is your chance, do the hump. And I'm like, and then I just started going like, well, stop what you're doing. Then we started rapping. Then I just going like, it takes two to make a thing go right.
Yeah.
Then we just started doing a medley. And then it was just like, great, we'll write
this is what we're doing.
So we had writers write it up and, we did it on the show and it went, like we said earlier, it went super viral. And I was like, whoa, this is cool. Like Justin called me from France and he goes, because he was promoting, Social Network. He goes, dude, I'm in France and we're on the front page of this French newspaper for History of Rap. And I'm like, that's crazy. I'm like, I can't believe like they know who I am in France. And he goes, no. I'm Justin Timberlake. Like, yeah, well, whatever. It doesn't matter. He doesn't lie to me. I'm like a big phenomenon in France. He goes, no, they don't know who you are. I'm Justin. I was like, whatever. All the musical stuff we do is because we're fans of the groups and stuff like that. So it's like we don't want to, ruin the song for anybody. Even though if we do a parody of it, like if we do Tim Tebow and David Bowie as one human, T Bowie. Yep. We don't want to screw up the song so that every time you hear it, you go, that's. But we just want to make you laugh and go like, that's a weird combo. Yeah. And of course, why didn't we think of that? Of course, T Bowie is exactly what we should do. And they were playing it in Boston. I got the stadium and stuff. Yeah. Trying to throw Tebow off. They were playing it.
Oh, man.
It was just crazy. It was just, it's the most exciting. We had a crazy couple years, but especially the last year has just been nuts.
You're like the guy that could that has to like talk someone into throwing an M80 down the toilet, and like at first it's like no, dude, it's gonna be so much fun.
Everyone flush the urinal at the same time.
Yeah.
we're gonna break the system. Yeah,
it's gotta be like nerve wracking though to have to approach these guys with these ideas. Like, look, you're gonna love this.
You gotta do it. Yeah.
Eddie, that's
gotta
balls, man.
Well, I just say I was like, honestly, we do it out of love and out of fun, and we don't want to make anyone look stupid. Sure. So when you're done with it, you win. I just want, everyone gets a clear win at the end. So that's kind of what I think people see when we do our bits. They go, it just looks like fun, man. Care of us, yeah.
Sirius XM, the virus. You're listening to You're listening to NOpie.
So true.
Now he doesn't do it, but did you try to get him on the show? He's almost impossible to book, obviously.
I don't try to do that.
Yeah.
You don't try to book guests when you're out?
I don't. You don't tweet about it and all that stuff. Which, by the way, thanks for the tweet.
That was
the other day
an accident. I was doing a timeline joke.
Oh, right.
It's a dumb timeline joke. It's just a dumb timeline joke.